everybody. Claudia here from Fluffy Cow Coffee. As you know, we're the only coffee company in the country that supports farm animal sanctuaries nationwide, and we do so by having our week-long online fundraiser, whereby we donate $2.50 for every single item sold on the website during the course of the week. And today we're with the lovely Lindsey from Rory Pond Rescue Ranch in California, with lots of her residents in the house.
Yeah.
Hi, Lindsey.
Nissa, one of our two house chickens.
Who's that?
Nissa, she's one of our two house chickens.
And what's her name?
Nissa.
Nissa. Oh, nice to meet you, Nissa.
She's very talkative today.
She's very chatty. So, Lindsey, tell me again, tell everybody all about Rory Pond Rescue. When I say that, I mean, where are you? Why are you? Why is it called Rory Pond? Etc.
Yeah. So we are in Northern California, just south of Sacramento. My husband and I are vegan, and we've done volunteer work and other work with animals, and we always wanted to start our own rescue ranch. And so we saved up money and purchased the property with the goal of starting a rescue ranch. And about a year after we moved in, we were able to get nonprofit status.
Excellent.
So we rescue farm animals from all sorts of situations. Like Nissa here is one of our many hens that came from factory farms. So unfortunately, in factory farms, they oftentimes will cull their chickens around 2 years of age when they're no longer making enough eggs. But Nissa was actually rescued from that situation, and she decided after we moved in here that she wanted to be a house chicken. She gets along great with the dogs and cats.
She's chatty.
She is. Today more so than usual, but she's always been a very talkative chicken.
Well, she knows she's on camera.
Yes.
She's being broadcast out in the internet.
Yeah, I figured with her being loud, it would be fine for her to hop in my lap and people would like to see her, because she's also a really good therapy chicken, as far as she's super good with people. I'm a veterinarian, so sometimes she'll come to work with me and get to meet people. And our name, Rory Pond, was actually after our first pig rescue, Rory. So Rory was a pig that was abandoned by his original owners. And when the neighbors reached out to ask them to come back and get Rory, they said, you could just sell him for meat, which is really sad because potbellies are not used for that often either. But so we ended up rescuing him, and he was our first pig, and we just absolutely fell in love with him. Pigs are definitely misunderstood, and they're not for everyone. They're very, very smart, but different than dogs. But Rory and my husband and I have a really special bond. And we also have a pond on our property that fills up in the wintertime. It's full right now. So we named our, the full name of the character Rory is named after is Rory Pond. So we just went with Rory Pond Rescue Ranch after Rory.
Fantastic. Now, how old is Rory?
He's almost 9.
Nice. And how long ago did you move to that property and convert it into a nonprofit?
We moved here just over 2 years ago, and we got nonprofit status a year ago.
That's awesome. And how many residents?
In the 90s.
Cool. How big is the property?
5 acres.
That's awesome. And what are the species of the residents?
Yeah, so we have 19 chickens, 12 roosters. So they're technically roosters, but we keep them separate. We have 27 pigeons. We have 2 turkeys. We have.
Oh, that's right. We have to talk about pigeons. Go ahead.
We have 7 pigs, 7 goats, 9 sheep, 1 cow, and 1 livestock guardian dog.
Nice. Okay. Now, pigeons. I'm from New York. Nobody's rescuing pigeons in New York.
Yeah.
So, and also, I didn't know pigeons are out in the wild.
So they really shouldn't be. I've learned a lot about pigeons since we started rescuing them. I volunteer at a wildlife clinic, and we get a lot of pigeons in. And what's interesting is pigeons were the first domesticated species even before chickens. And so they
carrier pigeons.
Yeah, and people use them for like not only messaging, but also they use them for showing, because you might see the fancy pigeons that have like such extravagant feathers. So the sad news is the reason you see so many pigeons in cities is because they really don't know how to live on their own. And living in a city, they can kind of live off of humans and pick up whatever's like discarded for them. People who are in the pigeon community, as far as rescue and breeding, they actually refer to wild pigeons as feral pigeons, just like we would refer to wild cats as feral cats. They're not really wild. So they really don't do well in the wild, and they get picked off by predators pretty easily. So our pigeons were actually owned by someone that was breeding them, but that individual passed away and the breeding got out of control. And so it was like a situation where they really needed to get taken out and put in homes. And in our aviary, they have a lot more room and it's a lot more sanitary for them now.
All right. So pigeons being bred are being bred for pets?
A lot of people breed them for showing. There are some people in the hunting community that actually breed them for hunting, which is really sad. And there are people that use pigeons for meat. Obviously, our pigeons, we don't let them breed now, and they just get to live out their lives with lots of enrichment in the aviary.
And how long is the lifespan of a pigeon?
They can actually live up to 15 years.
Wow. Now, I know I've asked this 8 million times, but there are so many different species that we deal with. And like every other or few sanctuaries that we support, we learn like a story about an animal that I had no idea about. Yeah. Like today, it's Pigeon Day. So how long is the lifespan of like Rory?
Rory could live to be about 15 as well. Yeah.
Okay. And this is the thing, like I always talk about, I mean, I talk about this a lot, is the level of commitment that you and your husband and all the volunteers have to take care of these animals. Like for you and your husband to have a sanctuary, it's 24/7, 7 days a week. 365.
Yeah, it's actually been an eventful week too, because we rescued 4 sheep in December, and we tried to make sure that they didn't have babies, but one of them did have babies this week. So that was an around-the-clock situation, making sure everything's okay. Happy to report that both mom and the 2 babies are doing really well. And this is the first time this sheep is ever going to get to live out her life with her babies and not have them taken away. So,
oh, that's awesome. So, our decaf is called UBU, EWE.
Perfect.
EWE, and it has baby sheep on the front.
Yeah.
So cute. So that's got to be, for the decaf drinkers.
Yeah.
We need to push UBU in honor of the babies.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's very eventful and probably doesn't happen that often, because you make I'm sure, especially being an emergency vet as you are for a living, like you make sure that spay and neutering happens.
Yes, all of our male residents are neutered, and then the females that it's safe to, like pigs in particular, are spayed. Goats and sheep typically aren't spayed, so we just made sure all the males are neutered, but she came to us pregnant, and so she will never have babies again, but now she gets to live out her life with her babies.
So say that again. What species are not spayed and why?
We typically don't spay goats and sheep because it's quite difficult where like the positioning of the different ovaries and such that you would remove. It'd have to be done standing, and it's kind of risky for them. So it's very easy to do neutering in the males. So you just neuter the males and then don't worry about spaying the females. But for pigs in particular, they're actually very much like dogs and cats, and it's really important to get them spayed for health reasons as well.
Sure. And how many pigs again do you have?
7.
And what's their origin story? Where did they come from?
Yeah, most of them came from abandonment situations. I think, unfortunately, again, because pigs are kind of misunderstood, people get them thinking they're going to stay really tiny in size, and they don't.
Always. Yep.
Yep. And then they can't handle them. And so they either get taken to the shelter or, like in Rory's case, the family moved out and just left him behind and then told people in the neighborhood, oh, whatever, sell him for meat. So most of our pigs are from different abandonment situations. We do have a pair from like a unsafe domestic violence situation, but they're doing great. And so most of them are abandoned.
So are they all potbelly?
Yes, we have all potbelly. We do absolutely adore visiting other sanctuaries and meeting farm pigs there. But with it just being my husband and I right now, we realize we're not really set up for the full farm size pigs yet.
Yes. And, God knows there's lots of need in the potbelly world.
There's so many.
People keep buying and adopting, I should say buying more often than not, buying potbellies thinking they're going to stay this big, and they end up being 130 pounds.
Yeah.
And it's like in an apartment going, okay, now what do I do?
Yeah.
Wow. And you said where'd the goats come from?
The goats came from several of them were abandoned. Some of them were from the shelter. So we have like relationships with some of the local shelters. If they get farm animals, they don't really know what to do. So they reach out to those of us in the sanctuary community.
And now, are you in a rural area?
Yes.
So that makes sense that your county shelter would get farm animals too.
Yeah, they don't get them very well. The shelter itself is right next to Sacramento City, so they don't get a ton of farm animals, but they do cover the rural community that we live in as well. I'll just share a silly story. Our first goat rescue, Bellatrix, she was picked up by animal control because she was loose in a neighborhood headbutting children, and everyone always finds that hilarious. But she's doing great. She was our first goat, and she's kind of the head of the herd. So.
Oh my Lord, that's awesome. And what's crazy to me and great in a great way is how many animals you have saved for sanctuary in such a short period of time.
Yes, it is crazy, but we've definitely, it's also been really fun being part of the sanctuary community now. Like all through California, there are so many great people doing sanctuary work that we've networked with, and we've been able to help temporarily house animals. We're part of groups on social media helping with evacuations from fires and such. And it's just such a great community.
It is the most amazing community. I mean, that is the one thing Beth and I have learned like I said, we learn something all the time. Like today I learned about pigeons. Like we learn something all the time, but what we know is that the people in your world are extraordinary human beings. Like down to a one, like they're extraordinary people.
Yeah, I feel so lucky to have met so many amazing people in this community.
Well, it takes a specific kind of person to do what you do. And there aren't that many in the world that are like that. So we honor every one of you for everything that you do. And I'm so thrilled that you're now in this amazingly mutually supportive community where everybody will bend over backwards for each other. It's just wonderful. Now, are you at your 5 acres, are you feeling at capacity?
Yeah, we're at capacity. We do take in, we have a couple small spaces that we can take in temporary fosters to help other sanctuaries out. But as far as actual animals on the property having the space we want them to, we're at capacity.
Yeah. Okay, now Lindsey, let's talk about the fundraiser because it's Thursday. It started Monday morning, so we got to tell all your fans, which I'm sure you have many fans. It started Monday morning and Sunday at midnight, and we donate $2.50 for every item sold on the website. Item, not order, item. And our coffee's fantastic. As you probably have learned, did you drink the coffee? No, your husband did. Did your husband?
I'm not a coffee person, but our board members are, and they're obsessed. So,
all right, and so they probably had. If I'm going to guess, did we give you? Oh, I bet we sent you the plot chickens.
We did the plot chickens and the Deja Mu, and they're huge hits. And yeah, our board members are like also spreading things everywhere for buying it just because it's so good, they said.
That's awesome. It is. And it's really good coffee, just for your fans. It's really good coffee. It's like served in like 5-star resorts and stuff. But like I said, if you don't drink coffee, we have amazingly fun swag. These are our artisan mugs. And then we also have species specific mugs and t-shirts, and it's really fun. And we, like I said, we donate $2.50 for every item sold during the course of the week that ends at midnight on Sunday. So now the question for you, Lindsey, is say we do a great job and we raise like $300 to $500. What kind of impact would that have?
That
is gonna,
yeah, that's going to help medical expenses tremendously this year. We've got 2 pigs that need to get spayed, 2 new lambs that need to be neutered, and that'll really, really help with those fees for covering their medical expenses.
Awesome. Well, we love covering. Obviously, we don't care how you use the money, as long as it's for the animals. Which, by the way, that's the other thing with your world is every dime goes to the animals. Mm-hmm. That's like the nature of all of you guys. It's like amazing. It's fantastic. So we love it when we feed the animals. We love it when we shade the animals. We love it when our funds can be used for an evacuation tool, for a wildfire, like whatever it is. And we're happy as clams to help spay or or to defer medical expenses. Mm-hmm. So that's awesome. All right. Now, Lindsey, we got to get the word out.
Yeah. And again, thank you so much for your company doing this. It's so amazing.
Oh, we love it. We love doing it. We love helping you. We love helping all your colleagues. We want to help all of you. If we could, we would. But we love what we do, just like you. Because I don't have the temperament that you do. That you can actually go from being a vet from being a vet. Now you're a domesticated animal vet, right? More like dog and cat.
Dog and cat emergency, yeah.
So you go from dog and cat emergency, which has got to be stressful.
A little bit.
Trying, upsetting, rewarding. And then you go home and you take care of over 90 different species of animals for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. My husband does a lot of the work too to make it like, sure. He makes it happen. But it is really nice though. I wish people would know that like chickens and pigs can be just as loving as dogs and cats. And I love my job, but I love coming home and also having these guys here too.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's just what like your life is. You're just surrounded by animals all the time.
Exactly.
Like that's amazing. That's just so fun. And it's also so hard, but we appreciate everything you do, Lindsey, and kudos to your husband, to you, to everybody in your position. And like I said, for you to go from being an emergency vet to going home and taking care of 90 animals for the rest of their natural lives, like we just love you, Lindsey, and we want to do a great job for you. And we want to write you a big old check on Monday. So we got to spread the word because we have 3.5 more days.
Absolutely. Coffee's amazing. The Mother Clucker mug is amazing.
I've
already had several friends buy that one. So
that's awesome. That's great. And again, for the decaf lovers, this is the week for you be you. Decaf, because we have baby sheep.
Yeah.
We have 2 new baby sheep at Rory's Pond. Oh, that's fantastic. All right. So now, Lindsey, you have a wonderful weekend. I can't wait for Monday, so hopefully I'm going to write you a big old check, and we'll be in touch soon thereafter, because we'll do this again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you do.
All right. Take care.
Bye.